Yes, you did! Now give me that trailer! I've got pointlessly complex theories to make! Well, I guess we should have seen this coming. After the news broke that the Owl House Season 2 was gonna bust in on the 12th and start this summer right, the fans were sure that there would be some kind of trailer so we can get a small taste of what's coming before the show's grand return. And after watching what the people on Dana's Terrace have cooked up, all I can say is... holy freaking cow. I only asked for a taste of what's coming, but that was like a billion completely different tastes. I feel like the guy who went to the market, filled up on free samples, and was completely full after he left. I've heard plenty of rumors about this season as well. Some say it's going to be a lot darker than the first, some say it's going to be a lot closer to Dana's original vision for the show. I honestly don't know what to believe. But before we find out for sure in about a week or so, how about we break apart this trailer piece by piece and come up with some guesses for what we'll be seeing this season. Keep in mind that these are all just initial thoughts and weird brain farts I had while watching this, and if you've got any ideas of your own, the comments are always open, so feel free to have a discussion down there. But for now, grab a snack and a drink, guys. This is gonna be a long journey. So we start this off with a video message that Luce plans to send to her mom, similar to the one she made at the end of Young Blood Old Souls. She mentions that it's been a week since her surrogate mama almost got stoned, so I'm guessing that things are gonna start going back to normal in the Owl House. Well, as normal as you can get with the Emperor probably watching you like a seven-eyed hawk now. She also mentions that she's been studying Ida's dimensional key in the hopes of finding a way to get back home one day. We already know that Luce blew up the portal during the Season 1 finale, and Belos has been doing his best to piece it back together, so this will definitely ramp up the tension as both the protagonist and the antagonist are working towards the exact same goal. Who's gonna get there first? Yeah, we'll get to that later. Also, this is just a personal desire, but I'm hoping that at some point in this season, we get a homesick emotional breakdown from Luce. I really want to see a moment where the reality hits her that she may never be able to go back home. She may never see her mom again. And all the little things she misses about her old life start flooding into her mind, as tears flood out of her eyes. It's clear that she misses her mom and wants to see her again, but I would really want to see a raw display of emotion, along the lines of Hopping Mall from Amphibia. I think it would be really impactful, especially after multiple failed attempts to create a new portal. Now let's talk about the rapid fire clips. We have King and Luce riding on Ida's staff with Lilith trailing behind. I really hope that Luce adapts her witch cape as a permanent part of her look because she really rocks it. Also, I absolutely love that shirt that Lilith is wearing. It's clearly a pajama shirt with the whole low battery picture, like you wear it when you're low on power and trying to relax, but it's also ironic for Lilith because we know her magical power was greatly diminished after the Season 1 finale. It's like the shirt is unintentionally mocking her. I love it. As for that birdhouse on her back, we'll get to that later. Next up is Luce and Amity about to enter a part of the library called the Forbidden Stacks. Clearly a reference to the restricted section from Harry Potter. Jeez, this show references Harry Potter more times than Wander references Star Wars. There's an episode coming up entitled Through the Looking Glass Ruins, where Luce and Amity explore, quote, the most dangerous section of the library. So I'm guessing that there's gotta be some deadly stuff in there. It's not exactly discreet or hidden or even guarded, so I'm assuming that anyone's allowed to enter and check something out. If they survive. Then there's Luce in a cave being terrified by some kinda giant, horned, lanky, incineroar looking guy? Considering how stiff it looks and moves, my guess is that this is one of those smoke and mirror situations, where they put a dummy on a stick to make a scary shadow so people will run away without investigating. There's probably some kind of really harmless puppeteer behind that rock, Wizard of Oz style. Heck, maybe King ran away and he's trying to scare Luce away with that thing so he can be left alone. But then Luce realizes it's fake, approaches him, and they have a nice bonding moment together. That would be really cute. There's a scene of what looks like Belos taking on a more monstrous form while the blonde masked guy is nonplussed. Remember in Agony of a Witch where Belos was ingesting the magic from Palismins after looking like he was about to pass out? Remember that gigantic throbbing heart in Belos' throne room and those weird fleshy guts all over his palace walls? Part of me thinks that the Titan isn't completely dead yet, and Belos, who was once a normal guy, is now an extension of the undead Titan. They have a symbiotic relationship like Venom and Spider-Man. The Titan gives him wisdom and direction, and Belos feeds on magical energy to help the Titan survive. But if he goes off his magic meds, he can't retain his human form anymore, and the Titan completely takes him over and devolves him into this disgusting feral beast over here. Then he instinctively goes on a hunt like a wild animal, desperate to devour any source of magic he can just to keep himself alive. In fact, maybe that's what the Day of Unity is for. Instead of having to suck down palismans through a human straw 24/7, they both come up with a plan to resurrect the Titan completely. So they plan to bring all the witches to one location, knowing their magical limitations if they try to fight back, and absorb a large portion of their magical energy in the hopes of bringing the Titan back from the dead. And once he's alive, Belos and him will be completely unstoppable. I'll probably make a more polished King Belos theory at one point, but either way, it'd be cool to see the normally calm, collected king go full-on feral in one episode. And speaking of Belos and the Titan, we've got a scene of Luz traveling through some kind of broken down temple, and there are a bunch of stone statues with weirdly shaped heads that kind of remind me of that Cyclops moon girl who goes to Hexside. And based on 2 clips we see later on, these things are apparently going to come to life at some point to hunt down Luz and King, complete with weird fleshy appendages and glowing blue eyes. I have no clue what these things are or what their deal is, but the whole fleshy tendril, blue-eyed look really reminds me of what's happening to Belos at the moment. So is this related to the Titan at all? Did he send some kind of security system to keep people from uncovering some secrets? We see King in one of these clips, so maybe this takes place in echoes from the past, and King has some kind of connection to the Titan? So many questions, but we'll have to wait and see. We've got a Belos guard who's about to get nailed by something, so not much to say there. We've got Gus doing freaking fire magic, which I didn't even know he was capable of. And this is no illusion either, because we see the fireball blow up a really big hole in the wall later on. We know that in the episode Through the Looking Glass Ruins that Gus is trying to impress some kids from Glandis, so this is probably one of the ways that he tries to show off to them. And I gotta admit, for a pocket-sized illusionist, Gus has got some pretty powerful magic. I hope we see him use more stuff like this. We've got a guard using magic, which is nothing new, so next. We've got a shot of Luz's mom Camilla with short hair, which I think she pulls off really well. But check out the background here. We got some kind of conspiracy theory corkboard on display, with some red threads wrapped around a key, and a bunch of them leading to this silhouetted guy with a staff. I can only guess that this is the research that Luz said she was going to do on the dimensional key, but what's Luz's mom doing there? Did someone else bring her to the Boiling Isles through some other kind of portal? Did she somehow get Luz's video message and is doing her own kind of research in the human world? Or heck, maybe this isn't Luz's research at all and Camilla's just asking the camp where Luz has been since she stopped receiving the letters. I mean, whoever's sending those letters can't do it anymore now that the portal's gone. I honestly have no idea what to make of this, but if Luz's mom is coming to the Boiling Isles later this season, it's gonna make for one heck of a reunion. Then we have Pirate Luz casting an ice spell? Okay, but seriously, this clip and another one that we see later on are more than likely going to come from the first episode of the season, Changing Tides, where Luz goes on a treasure hunt of sorts to claim a bounty for the Owl House. Not much to say except that she looks super cute, and I can't wait to see a pirate adventure with the Owl House crew. There's a shot of the Titan skeleton getting engulfed in some kind of magical fire with a beam of light coming out of his eye. Maybe my Titan resurrection theory isn't too crazy after all. Unless this is just some kind of flashback, or maybe a vision King Belos is having. And then we get a shot of everyone's favorite spying mystery character, Blondie McHide-My-Face. I have no idea what this guy's deal is. All we know for sure is that he was commissioned by Belos to watch over the Owl House and keep him informed on any suspicious activity going on there. In this shot, we at least get to see his staff, which looks pretty cool. Got the whole half bird wing design going on there, and it's got a red gem atop it, kind of like Belos' staff. These are the only 2 staffs I've seen so far that don't have a palisman on top of them, and I'm interested to see what kind of weird technology or foreign magic they use to get these things to work. Also, I love his little "see ya" pose at the end. I'm hoping he'll be a fun character. We get a shot of Belos with 2 glowing blue eyes this time, meaning he has officially surpassed Sans in power level. Man, Luz is gonna have a really bad time when she fights him again. We've got 2 statues with glowing red eyes, crying dark energy, which we'll get to later. We've got Luz jumping on one of her ice pillars while holding Blondie's staff, and what is that thing, a cardinal? Or wait, is that a palisman? Did Luz get a palisman? Or is that Blondie's palisman that she just stole along with the staff? I have no idea, but if Luz's palisman is a cardinal, that would be so freaking appropriate. It's old legend that if you see a cardinal, it symbolizes good fortune and is a sign that you should follow your dreams. That's pretty much sums up Luz to a T. We've got some kinda creepy owl beast lurking around the owl house. It kinda looks like if you crossbred Hooty with Ida's cursed form. It looks kinda old too, with liver spots on its neck and whatnot. My best guess is that this is what a normal feral owl beast looks like. What it's doing in the owl house though, I have no idea. Maybe Lilith is having some kind of nightmare where she's afraid of turning into a beast herself. I mean, we see a clip near the end where Lilith is panicking mid-transformation, and it must be pretty terrifying the first time you do it, so a traumatic nightmare would be totally possible. Next is what I can only describe as a finger dragon, where every protrusion on his body from his mouth to his arms to his feet to his wings are all gigantic fingers. It's like if Master Hand and Ridley had a kid. Not much to say about this thing, but I hope he puts those fingers to good use. He'd be really great at shadow puppets. There's a green-haired elderly woman with really big round glasses, kind of like mine. People have suspected that this is one of Ida's friends, particularly the one covered up by the ticket in Winged Like Witches. It would make sense because she is wearing the red track colors, which is the color of the Bard Coven, and we see her playing a violin with a magic aura around her later on, meaning we'll finally get to see the Bard Coven in action. I can't wait! Also, shout out to a really stupid brain fart I had at one point where I thought that this was actually a grown-up Good Witch Azura. You know, like maybe this woman wrote that book series as a self-insert fanfic, or maybe it's a non-fiction autobiography, Daring Do style. 100% not gonna happen, but it was a funny thought. We've got Willow looking like she's about to open a window. Not quite sure why. There is a tiny Gus hand over on the side here, so maybe Gus is trying to ask her for help with something? We have a really cute shot of Amity tying up her hair at the library with a staff tag around her neck. We already know that she reads to little kids as seen in Lost in Language, so this is probably her preparing for a shift. And maybe Luce is gonna help her out. That'd be fun. And since she has employee access, that's probably how they get into the Forbidden Stacks in the first place. There's a creepy, one-eyed Grim Reaper looking guy with super long hair and an ice cream cone lantern. Alright, that's interesting. And here we have someone that I was hoping to see in this trailer. This is probably Ida's family member that was mentioned in Keeping Up Appearances, which I think is gonna be named Gwendolyn. I'm not sure if it's her mom or her aunt or whatever, but she looks so freaking cool. I love her fur coat, I love her hairstyle, I love her falcon talisman, she just looks so awesome. It was said in her episode description that she would put a massive strain on everyone in the Owl House, so I'm curious about what she's gonna do. Is she gonna scold Lilith for cursing her sister? Is she gonna be overly strict in general? I don't know, I just wanna see this lady in action. Next up is some kind of abomination in Thanos battle armor. Now when you pair this with another clip later on, which includes Amity's mom with an abomination flamethrower, it looks like we're finally gonna see what Amity's parents do for a living. It seems like they own their own giant corporation, Blight Industries, which seems to specialize in abomination enhancements and technology, I guess. This would explain why they want Amity to take the abomination track, so she could keep up appearances and hopefully take over the business one day. And the deal that Luce strikes with the parents in the second episode, escaping expulsion, might have something to do with their company. I'll never forgive these guys for what they're doing to Mitty, but I'm not gonna lie, I would be interested in seeing a showcase/infomercial for this kind of stuff. We've got Kiki Mora trying to cast a spell and stumbling all over herself, which is honestly pretty freaking adorable. But apparently she's gonna get really scary later on according to the Season 2 intro, so she probably won't stay cute for long. And then we get the coolest shot of the whole trailer. The face reveals of all the Coven Leaders. We got glimpses of them in the Season 2 opening in those little circles, but here they are in the flesh. Let's do a roll call. We've got Professor Anime Glasses, who may or may not be Ida's friend as head of the Bard Coven, Dapper Dan with a mirror earring, who's head of the Illusionist Coven, Precious Big-Haired Beast Girl Must Protect, who's head of the Beastkeeping Coven, a Sephiroth Leprechaun who's all angry because his girlfriend left him since he kept poking her in the eye every time they tried to kiss, as head of the Potions Coven, a troll with a god-tier mustache who's wearing a skull on his head as head of the Oracle Coven, an elderly Lillygant with golden antlers as head of the Plant Coven, a pretty handsome-looking dude with frickin' abomination hair as head of the Abomination Coven, Bald the Builder, who's folding his arms, but we already know from convention that he's head of the Construction Coven, and finally, Captain Kenshi Noodlehead, whose medallion we can't see, but by default he must be head of the Healing Coven. Not much else to say except they all look freaking awesome and I can't wait to see what they do. We have King going through some kind of existential crisis, which I hope is going to tie into King's backstory. I just really want to see where our favorite little munchkin originated. We've got Ida and Lilith sitting at desks, probably in glyph school, which means we'll get to see how Luce functions as a magic teacher, which is just going to be all kinds of adorable. And then we get the part of the trailer that actually made me cheer, Hooty in a birdhouse backpack, meaning that Hooty leaving the Owl House is the truth after all. You guys already know that I'm a die-hard Hooty fan, and now that our little bird buddy is mobile, we're gonna be getting a lot more of him this season, and I can't wait. Though I will say that seeing the house's fleshy guts is kinda disturbing. Hope y'all cover that up with something before you leave. Ugh. We got Lilith using ice glyphs while carrying the Hooty pack, which is awesome. We've got Luz casting some kind of combination fire and ice spell on a wall. Not entirely sure why. Maybe she's opening an ancient door of some kind? Then we finally get a shot of what grown-up Ida looks like with her red hair, and she is absolutely rocking that ponytail. I'm guessing that this is a flashback from Keeping Up Appearances, where we get to see what Lilith, Ida, and Gwen's family dynamic is like, but we'll have to see. Next up is some kind of tube worm fire dragon thing, surrounded by those same crying statues that we saw earlier. I want to take a guess and say that this is some location that Gus is trying to show the Glandis kids to try and prove that he's cool, but honestly, it could be anything. We've got Luz carrying an ice glyph while wearing the same pants from this shot and on the same hot air balloon from this shot. I'm not sure if these are some kind of magic pants or ice enhancement pants or something, but I noticed that in both scenes she's using exclusively ice magic, so maybe that's the case. I'll just call them Pantarctics for now. Next is a flashback shot of what looks like a younger Ida with Gwen's hairstyle getting attacked by something. Maybe this actually is a younger Gwen and the thing attacking her is Beast Ida, and Gwen is trying to keep Albert safe while Ida goes savage. We'll have to see. We've got Luz grabbing some kind of bony leg while up in the sky. She's still got the Pantarctics on, so this is probably part of that hot air balloon that we saw her on earlier. Not much else to say about that. We get a shot of young Ida cowering behind a door while someone, possibly her mother, is yelling. I'm assuming she's chewing Lilith out for cursing her sister, cause yeah, if I was a mom and I found out my kid got Beauty and the Beast did, I'd be pretty mad myself. And there's no way Ida and Lilith could hide something like this from their parents for too long. We get a shot of Hooty zipping around a forest surrounded by some kind of bees or wasps or something. I mean, we see some sort of beehive back here, so I'm guessing that's what it is. I don't know how Hooty got himself into this situation, but if this is setting up for another awesome action scene a la Agony of a Witch, I am 100% for it. We got Luz emerging from a body of water with a rope tied around her waist. I'm guessing she dove deep looking for something, almost drowned, and then tied a rope around herself so she could find her way back? But other than that, I got nothing. We see Lilith about to smash something with a stick, probably giving Hooty a hand with his little bee problem. We see Luz running away from the armored Abomination, so maybe the technology they were showcasing went haywire and she needs to save the day. Or maybe she volunteered as a training dummy to test the equipment's combative capabilities for the investors. That would make sense. We see Luz and Amity holding hands, which obviously made all the Lumity shippers squee, including me, and is hopefully implying that we're gonna get more Luz and Amity episodes at some point. We got Luz casting a light spell, probably in that dark temple from earlier, Luz casting an ice spell at the Blight Showcase again, Belos severing a palisman from a magical staff, probably for a snack later, Lilith getting her own Owl Beast transformation, which I talked about before, someone with a galaxy-themed cloak with a moon for a face, kind of like a human planetarium or something, and the last shot is a Belos opening the completed portal with what seems like a makeshift key. It's definitely not the same key that Luz has because it looks like it was just cobbled together with scrap metal. I mean, people create makeshift keys for locks all the time, so why should a dimensional portal be any different? I'm not sure if he can only travel to the human realm, or maybe he reverse engineered the portal so he can travel to any realm he wants, but we'll have to see.
Knock, knock, human.
Knock, knock.
And we wrap up the trailer with King being a cutie in a birdcage. 10 out of 10. So yeah, all things considered, this trailer was a roller coaster of reveals and possibilities. Just based on this, it seems like the season is going to be very heavy on the story and lore aspects, which is perfectly fine. I just hope they also have the emotional and character moments to back it up, like they did in Season 1. For now though, the premiere of the Owl House Season 2 is less than a week away, and I've got a lot of preparing to do. Get ready for more reactions, theories, and pointless Hooty editing gags. This is gonna be fun.
Make a little birdhouse in your soul.
Well, that's all I've got for you today. Tell me what your predictions for this trailer are, and subscribe for more Owl House and cartoon content coming soon. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and I hope to see you all real soon.